So today the unboxings continue and I'm going to be checking out the new Motorola G75, available on Amazon for around 200 quid. I think it was released back in November. So we're just going to whip it out the box, see what it's all about. Let's take a look. Okay, so here is the new Motorola G75. I'm getting back into unboxing Motorola phones. I've done the G35 just recently. And I'm considering doing the G85, which was released sort of halfway through last year. So let me know down in the comments if you want to see that one. But I've picked up the phone and they're, what's it called? Succulent green. I avoided the really deep blue color because I did that on the Edge 40 Neo that I reviewed last year. Check that video out if you haven't seen that one. So there's the phone on top, and then just beneath that, you just get some paperwork and a USB-C-A to USB-C charging cable. So we'll just pop that on, stick that aside. And here is the Motorola G75, pre-clad in a protective case. And in this succulent green, you get that sort of vegan leather feel to it. All plastic around the sides, unsurprisingly. And then just a few specs on the front, a 50 megapixel Sony Litia, I want to say, 600 camera with optical image stabilization, and then a 6.7 inch super bright full HD plus display, and then stereo sound as well. So let's just peel the front. Unsurprisingly, no screen protector pre-applied on the G75. You don't find that on Motorola's. So we'll just power on. I'll stick my information in and then we'll just quickly breeze through the OS. So here is the new Motorola G75, and as you can see, it's a pretty standard Motorola affair with a stock Android look. But uncharacteristic of Motorola's that I've used in the past, and it's something that's become definitely more apparent with recent Motorola's, is the addition of preloaded games and apps on the device. So you've got Ball Sort Puzzle, Block Blast, Booking.com, Candy Crush, Happy Color, Monopoly, Need for Speed. I did actually upload that onto here to do a little quick gaming test. And then a raid game, Solitaire, TikTok, Temu, Woodoku. There's all sorts on here which you wouldn't normally get on a Motorola device in the past. I've also uploaded Geekbench 6 so we can just compare a couple of Geekbench scores to other budget devices. But if we just quickly jump into the settings menu of the G75, it's a pretty standard look in terms of settings menus. You've got your normal Wi-Fi and Bluetooth settings, personalization, so you can jump into there and just look at your wallpapers, your fonts, plenty of options for your fonts, icon shapes, switch all that up, colors, lock screen information. You can reset the layout. I typically do 5x5 just to get a few more apps onto the home screen, so we'll just quickly save that. And then dark mode, display and text size, sounds, etc. Now there is a shortcut to that menu. If you jump into the Moto app and jump into the Moto folder into the Moto app, you've got a shortcut to all of your bits and bobs in there. And that wasn't actually found on the Motorola G35, which I've recently done an unboxing of as well, so check that video out if you're interested in that one. But jumping back into the settings, you can jump into your display settings and play with the adaptive brightness, dark mode, change the color saturation of the display from natural to vivid, and you can really change the color temperature to a sort of warm, cool, or custom look. And then you can change the refresh rate. It's set to auto out of the box, which will naturally adapt the refresh rate depending on what you're doing, but you can set it at 60 Hertz all the time if you want to save a little bit of power, or 120 Hertz if you want to force that all the time. And then full screen mode, you can turn apps on and off, which will take advantage of that large display. Screen timeout, screen saver, and then you've got your usual home and lock screen options, home settings, and that just takes you back to sort of app icons, app labels, 1 row or 2 rows. There's plenty of customization options on the phone. And then you've got your usual sound and vibration information. And one of the first things I do is typically turn off I'll go into vibrations and touch feedback. Now, on a lot of budget devices, the haptics aren't great, so it makes the tapping away when you're sending a text, having a vibration all the time, pretty unpleasant. It's not too bad on this one, but just out of habit, I tend to turn that off. And then you can go into your individual app information for various apps. Of course, that will increase, and the notification history will increase the more apps you install on your phone. And then you can just go to gestures. I've got it on the 3-button navigation, but I can add gestures as well to just give you that tiny little bit of extra space. And then there's a one-handed mode as well. Double press for the power button, and then there's the usual Motorola quick launches, so you can swivel the phone to open the camera. You can do the karate chop to turn on and off the torch. There's just the usual extras. Lift to unlock, or raise to wake as it's sometimes known as on other phones. I always turn that on as well. No, I won't do that just yet. So never mind, we'll do that in a second. Because what I want to do first is, if I go to security and privacy and device unlock, I just want to set up that fingerprint scanner. So we'll just set our pattern again, and then we'll just set up the fingerprint scanner. So it's just the usual capacitive fingerprint scanner as found on a lot of phones in this price range, around the £200 mark. This does seem to be a bit more finicky than other ones, telling me to move about, which I know I'm definitely doing. So we are done, and let's just see how. It's about as responsive as you'd expect from a capacitive fingerprint scanner. Sorry, I'm getting all muddled up there. And then while we're here, we'll just quickly check for some updates. It is doing an update at the moment, so we'll leave that to do its bit. System is updating to the version blah 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 blah. So then if we just go to about phone, device details, and we're on Android 14. But Motorola apparently promised up to 5 major software updates with this G75, which is a really good step in the right direction for Motorola, because they did have a reputation of being one of the worst in terms of offering software updates. And then you can swipe to the right to get to your newsfeed, etc. So if we just quickly jump into the camera of the G75, flip to the selfie, and there we have just a 16 megapixel selfie camera, which is about what you'd expect from this sort of price. If we just, I'll try do a portrait shot as well. Takes a second to process, and there we are, portrait shot. Separation's pretty good. Not a bad amount of detail on there. And then if we just jump around to the main camera, which is that 50 megapixel camera, take a picture of the old Christmas tree before it comes down. And there's also an 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then you get that 2 times crop as well. Can't get my words out today. I'm saying all sorts of crap that is not what I'm supposed to be saying. So there's the 8 megapixel ultra wide, and then the 2x crop from that main camera as well. And if we jump into video and go into video quality, where is it? Or is it one of these ones? Yeah, it's up there. So full HD or 4K. So you can shoot up to 4K video, which is quite nice. There's a stabilization option to turn on and off. Of course, there's the flash. And jumping back into that, you can turn on a watermark, front photo resolution, and there's a few other bits and bobs as well. Now, powering the G75 is the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3. It's not a chipset that I've used in other devices. I've used the Snapdragon 6 Gen 1 in the Honor Pad 9 and Honor Magic 6 Lite. Check those videos out if you're interested in those. And that is the Geekbench results from the 6 Gen 3. And then the Motorola G35, which uses a Unisoc T760. It's a nice increase over that one. And then if I just take this Blackview Shark 9, which uses a Unisoc T820, still more powerful than that one. But then for a laugh, I thought I'd have a look at what it compares against the OnePlus 11 with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. I knew what the results were going to be, considerably underpowered compared to that, but I knew that was going to be the case. I was just curious as how underpowered against that 8 Gen 2 it would be. Subscribe if you want to see my video coming up on the OnePlus 11. Awesome phone, but yeah, subscribe so you don't miss that one. And then lastly, if I just quickly jump into a quick need for speed test with the G75, just see how it copes with a little bit of gaming. So like I said, we have the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 inside the G75. And we'll just see how we do. A couple of pop-ups, there we go, we're going to come up, telling me how to play, even though I already know. So the 6 Gen 3, of course, isn't going to be the most powerful processor on the market, but my experience using the 6 Gen 1 in the Honor Pad 9 was absolutely great, and the same with the Honor Magic 6 Lite. And you've got 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of storage on this G75. So that should give you plenty of power for what you want to do. So overall, I think the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 coped pretty well with that little bit of need for speed. And it was absolutely fine for me when I was using it in the Honor Pad 9 and the Magic 6 Lite. And I think this G75 is turning out to be a pretty decent phone. Really nice display, 6.7 inch 120Hz Full HD display, 16 megapixel selfie camera, 50 megapixel rear camera, 8 megapixel ultra wide. Yeah, pretty nice phone, and it feels really nice on the back as well. But I will be dropping a more in-depth review on this G75. Be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss that video. Check out my G35 unboxing video. I've got loads of other Motorola's coming up. I'm considering looking at the G85. Let me know if that's a video that you'd like to look at as well. And I'll see you in the next one.